I would like to ask, why are you a homeopath? What led you to this profession? What it gives you? What it means for you?
I became a homeopath after actually having a career in the university. I finished my second degree in biology, and I finished it with excellence, and it was considered one of the best work at the time in ecology. And then I realized that even though it is considered to be so good, it will not be of benefit to almost anyone else except the academy. Not the birds, not the people. No one really will be benefited from it. So it will be few years of work, and so what? So I looked for something else, something completely else, and I was personally helped by homeopathy, and so I decided I had headaches, and they disappeared completely with homeopathy. So I tried to learn it, and the moment I came to, I think, to the first or second lesson, I understand that this is my calling. And with time, I realized that this is indeed one of the best methods of really curing humanity, of really curing people. This is not just helping to eradicate a disease, because we are not working with disease, we are working with people. And homeopathy is, I found out after many years of, even now after 30 years of working with homeopathy, I can say that homeopathy is indeed the best system to help increase the health of humans.
What would you tell to people who say that it's nonsense, that it's not working, that we are charlatans?
I can say personally, I can attest personally that during my the second year of homeopathy, I realized that indeed there are not many research in homeopathy. There are research, but not enough. And coming from the academy, I decided that I will do my doctorate, my PhD on research on homeopathy. And I've done it for 10 years in the Jerusalem University, which is the best university in Israel. And I can assure you, we have done research after research. It works. It works, it is confirmed, and ever since there is many other research which has confirmed that homeopathy in the area that you test, homeopathy is working. And saying that homeopathy is not working or that there is no research is actually charlatanism, because it means that you have not read the materials. If you open Club Med, you will find a lot of information. Now it's mostly even available in the internet. Even if you're not a doctor, you can open it and see that there are lots of research. Some of them are, and just like in any other field, some of them are good, some of them are not so good, and some of them are excellent. And the excellent research and the good research are unrefutable. If you go one by one, unless you're just trying to be contrary for fun, there is no denying it. I personally has received my PhD because there was no way to refute the study. We have done the study as a pilot study, then we have repeated the same study with 100 women. We found that homeopathy was very effective over placebo in treating women with PMS. We have found that it not only helped the general symptoms, they had reduced the general medication that they were taking during the whole month. They had less sick days. Generally, even the sick days and medication that they were taking during the whole month was reduced. That means that the level of health was increased. In homeopathy, we are not trying just to fight a disease, and this is a problem. We are not, when people are saying, can you cure a disease? We are not curing disease. Homeopathy is not curing disease. Homeopathy is another approach to health. And this approach is saying that we are treating the human being as a whole, and we are just helping the personal health of the human being to heal itself, just as the one who was creating the disease is the personal body. And so the body has the ability, if giving the right encouragement, to heal itself. And when it heals itself, it does it in all kinds of levels: the emotional, the physical, and the mental. Therefore, we are able to help people with what is so-called disease. But we are not curing disease. We are helping to increase the level of health. And I think this is a very divine cause. We are trying, I would even say that we are trying to expose out of all the dirt, the divine spark. And we are not fighting disease, because disease, I am not even sure that disease are entities which exist by themselves. We have human with deteriorated health, and they encounter all kinds of stages that we call them disease. But the one who really needs help is human being, not the disease.
Can you compare the effectiveness of placebo and homeopathic remedies, which was shown in your study?
In my study, it was quite clear that homeopathy was 2.7 better than placebo. And it was not only double, the pilot study was double blind, and the repeated study was triple blind. That means that even me, as a researcher in the beginning of analyzing the study, I didn't know what I'm analyzing, if it's the placebo or the treatment. And also the statistician, because in the beginning it was not me who analyzed it, but the statistician, she didn't know. There was just group A, B, and C. More than that, we have compared classical homeopathy to non-classical homeopathy, and each one was compared to its own placebo. And we saw that when you don't give the right homeopathic treatment, like in what we call modern homeopathy, then the results are not different than placebo. But when you give the specific treatment that each person needs, that means the personal treatment, then there is a statistically significant results in favor of homeopathy. So saying that homeopathy and placebo are the same it's ridiculous. It's just someone who indeed want to be contrary. Because if you look at the internet, you'll see lots and lots of studies which has shown the same thing, that homeopathy is more effective over placebo. But look for studies that were done with classical homeopathy, because classical homeopathy and what is called modern homeopathy is not the same. And it is, let's say, if you would take antibiotics and try its effectiveness in healing broken bones, you see that it is not effective. But it doesn't say that antibiotic doesn't work. It just says that you have chosen the wrong setting of trial. And this is the same for homeopathy. You have to do the right setting, because homeopathy has its own intrinsic rules. And if you go by them, you'll get good result. And if you don't go by them, you won't get good result, like with anything else that you don't do the proper protocol.
And what would you tell the people who say that we don't understand mechanism, how the information or the effectiveness of the source materials is transferred to water?
We don't need to understand the mechanism in order to study. It's a different science, different study to ask what is the mechanism of something, and a different study is to ask, is it working? They are not codependent. There are many things that we can see that they are working, we doesn't know how. And just like 100 years ago, nobody knew about the existence of germs and microbes. But still, people doctors who were washing their hands or with Lysol or with hot water and soap found that they were not infecting. It was found that their clients were not dying from infection after. Only after a while, sometimes later, it was found that there is germs and they are the cause of disease, or what we call disease. But the practice of washing hands was conducted before that, because it was just found to be effective. So there are many things that we find to be effective, and we find, but the how it works, the how of it is found later when our understanding of nature is expanding. And right now we could speculate that the answer to how homeopathy works lies in quantum physics. But our understanding of quantum physics is still limited, and more than that, combining studies of biology or medicine and quantum physics is also limited, because you need to have resource for that, and you need to have interest. Usually quantum physics are doing their own research and they're not really interested to look for other things, while doctors don't have the knowledge to lead research in quantum physics. So when fields will interact, I'm sure we will get answer for that. But it just means that we need to wait for the how until our knowledge expands. But to see, is it better? We already have the tools for it, and indeed we have found in many studies that the proper administration of homeopathic remedies is much more efficient than placebo. And it was proven with animals, it was proven with babies, and actually the truth is that homeopathy is much more efficient in babies because they don't carry such a baggage of disease or of bad health over their back. So with children and also with animals, the results are very quick. So and they don't know what they get. They don't care if they get placebo, or they don't care if they get anything. Whatever they get in their mouth is nice for them. So, and any homeopathic doctor will tell you that the efficacy with children is better. And there is a study done in the hospital in Glasgow of respiratory disease in children, and it indeed showed that homeopathy is much better than placebo, and it also and it was better than other treatment, conventional treatment that was done in the hospital. So isn't it interesting that actually a treatment which is much cheaper, much more ecological, because the product to prepare homeopathic medicine is very ecological. It's more ecological, much cheaper, and has no adverse effect, is found much more effective. And isn't it strange that you see people attacking homeopathy? They don't attack cigarettes, they attack homeopathy. And we suspect that what is standing behind it is big companies, which are the drug companies. For them, there is no interest to eradicate diabetes or asthma, because they have clients for life. With homeopathy, we can help people who are suffering from such disease, and help them to encourage the body to eradicate this disease. So again, we are not fighting disease, we are helping the level of health in people to increase to such a state that the body is able by itself to fight disease. And this is a I think, very holy practice.
Can you mention some cases or diseases you cured people? Because one man thought that I should go to prison if I declare that I can cure asthma. I
do not cure asthma. I help people to increase their level of health to such a state that their own body cure their asthma, or can get rid of it, or does not need to produce it, because the one who is producing the disease is the body. So I do not cure disease. I help the body, or help people to rise the level of health. So in my experience, I've seen many cases, and actually, again, you have studies in Glasgow, in the Glasgow hospital, that have shown that homeopathic are very effective in helping people with respiratory disease, which asthma is one of them. And we often say, just to shorten things, that we are curing asthma. We are helping people with asthma to cure themselves. We are not curing. This is not our call. We are helping people to raise the level of health. So we need to change the paradigm of thinking, and it is difficult.
My last question is, what would you tell to people who say that it's a magic, the homeopathy is forbidden for religious people?
This is ridiculous. Homeopathy is nothing but magic. We prepare, homeopathic remedies are prepared from natural source. I don't think it's magic. If you prepare a remedy from salt, or from, let's say, from olive, there is nothing magic about it. You are just using the part which we are not used to use. We use the energetic part of it. But actually, in our life, we are using energy all the time. When we are speaking with our cell phone, we are using energy. We are using the transmitting of energy. When we are using television, when you are seeing the television, you're using energy. When we are speaking, actually, it's energy. There is energy everywhere. Our body is actually energy, and quantum physics will tell you that actually has everything in life has two aspects. It is matter and energy together. And we are utilizing the energy aspect of the material. There is nothing matching about it, because it's very systematic, and if you take the time and study homeopathy, you'd see that every homeopathic remedy is being prepared according to a protocol, a very precise protocol. You give it to, and you have to follow this protocol, and everyone can repeat this protocol and get the same results. So there is no magic in it, and actually, we often found that religious people prefer to use it because there is less intervention. Because we are not curing disease, we are just helping people to remove the obstacle to health, to obstacle to gain a good health.
And in Israel, what religious people?
The rabbis in Israel are recommending homeopathy, again because there is not so much intervention, and there is no pretense that we are curing disease. We are helping people to improve their health. This is a holy mission. There is no magic in it. There is just good intention, and I think it's very important for me to stress it. You should see that homeopaths are putting their whole life for only one person, to help people improve their health. For me, it's like one of the missions of the Christ, to improve the health of people emotionally, physically, mentally, and eventually spiritually, and enable them to approach this holy source, holy sparkle which resides in each of us.
And beside of rabbis, what very religious people think in Israel about homeopathy? It's holy land for us.
We see that religious people are using homeopathy much more than non-religious, and there are much more religious homeopath, people who are religious and study homeopath, because they feel that it is much more close to the script. And we are saying that the first homeopath was Moses. when he has cured the people who were complaining and they were drinking something poisonous, eating something poisonous. So he has cured them through the word of God with the same bitter water. So we say that he was the first homeopath. But in the script we find a lot of proofs for homeopathy being, I would say, a method of medicine which is favorable in the eye of God.
Also, he made a copper snake to heal people who were bitten by
snake. Yeah, God. Moses has. This was the second time that he has done it. People were bitten by snakes, so he has made a copper snake. Again, I'm sure that he has blessed it, and people were cured just by watching it. We are not on the level of Moses, but he has hinted of what is the right medicine.
Because some people say here in Slovakia that even the law of similarity, of similars, is esoteric and magic, and therefore forbidden.
It is not esoteric, it is just a fact. Actually, only 200 years ago, this was a common method in medicine. We have to remember, medicine has not always been as it is today. And medicine has a record of as old as the history of humankind. And for thousands of years, people has looked at nature and understood the way plants and minerals are working and how effective and to what kind of purpose they would serve in helping people to gain their health. There is no magic in it. There was a simple observation. And now we are having all this information, so we might use it. But magic is looking at something that you don't understand and calling it magic is very primitive. Today, we know, if you're a good scientist, you know that there are many things that you still don't know. You are humble. You just say, I don't know yet. I might be able to explain it later when the humankind knowledge will be expanded. But it's okay not to know things. We can be humble and still not call it magic, because we are not producing something which is new. We're using common materials, things that are in our everyday life, and that we are using them only for good purpose. We have only one aim in mind, to help people regain better health.
Thank you very much.